Welcome back to BVarsity Live. We welcome into the studio from Liberty High School the terrific throwing trio of Corbin Chronister, Daniel Viveros, and Alicia Viveros on the end. Welcome in, guys.
Thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, way to start off, Zach. Alicia's already offended.
I didn't do that. I asked who had better hair, and Corbin dug his own grave there, okay? That's what happened.
Yeah, but it is some pretty...
That is some pretty awesome hair. Yours is
Both
very
of you.
nice, too, Alicia, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys are getting set for the Patriot games tomorrow. Obviously, kind of the big track meet in town, or at least the last one of the regular season, anyway. And then getting set, obviously, for the postseason league, Valley and State coming up next in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So
6 weeks, season's over.
yeah, things are
Let
going
that
quickly.
settle in.
Anyhow, how are things going, Corbin? Let's start with you. How have you grown this year? Can you feel differences in strength, technique, those sorts of things? And get right on that mic for me, guys, when you talk.
I've definitely felt that I've gotten stronger from last year, just because I've been able to focus all my effort into throwing and just getting stronger for that. And I feel like because of that, I've been able to work on my technique and just be getting better because of it.
Yeah, one of these things about throwing, and it's like this in many field events, I think, but especially in throwing, you kind of just have to have that magic moment where everything comes together, the technique is right, your rhythm is right, and you explode. Has that happened for you yet, or do you think there's a lot more distance out there for you?
This year, it has not happened for me yet. I'm hoping I still have the big one in me.
All right, so that's always kind of good news when you have something to look forward to, too. Daniel, how about you? Still a younger guy as far as high school, but it seems like you've certainly burst onto the scene. How are you feeling this year?
I feel like I have a lot more in me. I mean, I kind of had a setback during football because I injured my elbow. But it's kind of, I worked on my technique a lot this year, so I think it's getting better.
Now, what was the injury to the elbow?
I partially tore a tendon.
I could see how throwing a discus or shot put would be difficult with a torn tendon. How long did that set you back for?
A couple weeks. So beginning of the season, I could only do drills and that, so I couldn't pick up and implement and throw it.
100% now, or close to that, or
95 to 100.
okay,
Yeah.
We're getting there. And Alicia, you've been the star on the scene now for a few years. Your senior year, what are the goals for this year? I mean, as far as what you want to do before you leave high school.
Before I want to leave high school, I would definitely at least like to pass 150. And I think with shot put, I already hit my goal of 45 at Arcadia. So I think I'm going to try to set a new goal.
Better bump it up. That's right. Yeah.
So I'm just planning on having a new goal, trying to get to 46. And if I get to 46, then go for 47.
Alicia, for you, how extraordinary was it? And guys, sorry I wasn't at Arcadia. I had family coming into town, so it was the first time I haven't been down there since I moved down here. Yeah, you tell that to my nephew who sat right here and had a ball. Anyway, last year it was kind of a bummer weekend for you at Arcadia. Did that play into how you kind of prepared for the weekend? And then once you had that throw that was, once again another PR for you, did that kind of solidify you and say, you know what, okay, things are going in the right direction?
Yes, definitely. I think last year with Arcadia not going the way I planned, it definitely had a toll on my mental state. And I think with this year, I was mentally prepared going in, and I knew like what I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish. And I think I went in there, I accomplished it, and I think it's left me better for the outcome. And so I think I'm mentally prepared now to go on to area, Valley, and State and try to have that same mental attitude.
Right. Daniel, I like the idea of you and Thomas Richardson kind of going at this for the next 3 years. You guys are both sophomores. He's got an older brother at UC Davis and Greg Richardson, and then obviously your sister's going to move on to Mississippi State next year. How much do you know Thomas, and how much have you guys kind of, have you fed off of each other, or is that something that's really going to kind of come into fruition tomorrow?
We've been throwing against each other since 7th or 8th grade. We always kind of compete against each other and try and just do the best we can, but we always root for each other. We always want to see each other PR and see the other one PR, so it's just seeing who has a big day.
Corbin, I know you probably don't want to give all praise to your dad, but with him being the throws coach at Liberty, how much of this, being able to have this moment where the three of you are so high end and you guys have a great season moving forward, kind of really does come down to your dad spending so much time with you guys?
I definitely think that just because he's willing to put in so much time to make us better, that like even working on the weekends, if it has to be, that because of that, I feel like we are, mentally prepared and technically prepared to hit the big one this year.
Do you guys, the thing that strikes me here is that everybody's got sort of a family member involved in throwing. I don't know that anybody grows up at 5, 6, 7 years old and say, I want a shot put. You kind of grow into it after that, right?
Yeah.
What has it meant? And Corbin, we'll start with you and your dad, and I don't know if you have other family members as well who threw, but how did you get into it? Was it just from watching and sort of learning, and how much does that mean to you to have that family connection?
Well, I'm going to be honest. My dad kind of pushed it onto me when I was younger. He
No.
was like, you should try this. I think you'll
out.
enjoy it because he did it and he was so good at it.
Good
And,
call, Dad. Worked out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it did. And it just, at an early age, it was kind of meh to me. It wasn't that much fun. But then as I started to get a hang of the technique and started to get better and better, it became funner and funner for me.
And Daniel, how about you? You have a sister who threw kind of before you and maybe got you into it. What has that been like?
It's been interesting because I always get to see her throw. And I remember I got into it because she always go to her meets and that. And I would see the people I would have been competing against, and I was like, well, I can throw farther than that.
Yeah.
Like, not even without technique in that. So my mom was like, well, then why don't you just go out? So I just followed with her and kept going, and Coach Rod helped a lot.
Now, when you started, could you throw farther than Alicia from the get-go? How long did that take to get?
It took a couple of years.
Okay.
1 to 2 years.
You had your time in the sun there in,
Yeah.
in the family, Alicia. But what was that like for you to kind of see little brother kind of get into it and also become a high-level thrower?
I think it's a really interesting experience because I'm really glad that he decided to throw because he used to play baseball before this, and I think he saw of course how he said, and I think it's just really cool because now I can have someone always to talk to, and there's less pressure now, and I think I can always joke around.
That's
and
right. You used to
it's
play
fun.
baseball for Ron Stapp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With Ronnie, didn't you?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to know, for those who don't know, boys and girls use different weights of the shot and discus. Any switcheroos going on there to throw the other person off? Ever? Would you ever switch the disc in the bag and all of a sudden Daniel's throwing a lighter disc and I don't know. I mean, does that even cross your mind?
Not really.
No, not really, because I think it's the size.
You would
can
know right
tell.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Just
All right.
feels different.
After what Ben and Alex Hibbert did to me a couple years ago.
Oh, dude, that last year, that was so much fun. What we did to you, Zach. Do you guys know what happened?
No.
So you know how Ben and Alex are identical, and they always had that floppy hair. Now that I think Alex is the one that has braces and shaved his head, I had Alex sit in as Ben, and then
And I interviewed him like he was Ben.
for about a minute.
Nah, it was more like 5 minutes, man. You guys hung me out to dry on that one.
And then
yeah.
and then Ben popped up and goes, "I'm Ben."
He goes, "Are you sure that I'm Alex or something?" And it's not a good moment for me. Live television.
It was
Live
so much
television.
fun. It was, those kids are really good too. I like them a lot because their mom works with my wife, and so we still have a relationship with them. So it's good to have that. Over years, see you guys compete. When I first walked in the door, you two were sophomores, and you guys are still competing here. It's been a lot of fun to be able to watch you guys.
Corbin, tomorrow's Patriot games. Obviously, you talked about how you haven't had the big throw yet. You'd love to have it tomorrow. You don't necessarily want it to happen tomorrow. You want the big ones to happen later on. So how do you approach a meet like tomorrow? It's important, but it's more of a step toward where you want to be.
Going into tomorrow, it's just I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try and get my technique correct, and I'm gonna go for the big one. And if it happens, it happens. If not, I'm not gonna get down on myself, and I'm just gonna keep going.
How about you, Daniel? A meet like tomorrow that is important, but maybe not the most important one. What's your mindset going into tomorrow?
Just go and relax and try and throw far. I haven't been throwing as far as I really wanted to this year, but just do my best, really.
Is this now? You mentioned being pretty close to 100%. Is this the first week you can say that, or have you been like that for a little while?
Kind of over spring break, I felt like I was really getting back into form because I was having some pretty far throws during practices and that, and I feel like I can start progressing a lot.
So this may be a breakout
Yeah.
weekend for you if things
like
go
it.
right.
Yeah.
Alicia, you've been through the season 3 times before. The Patriot games are always kind of the gateway toward the postseason. So what's your thought process for tomorrow?
I'm going to try to use this meet as a way to prepare for the future meets. So I'm gonna probably like go in with a mental mindset that I try to attempt to do every track meet and just try to be focused, ready, and then try to use it and prepare and just try to throw far.
Is this also one of those times where, it's 2 weeks after Arcadia where you're trying to have that perfect throw, and we're now 2 weeks from league where if you don't have that perfect throw, you're not moving on? Do you guys use tomorrow as maybe a way to, find a new technique or really kind of push yourselves, Corbin? Do you find yourself maybe wanting to do that tomorrow just to see what's inside of you so you can work on in the next 2 weeks before league?
I feel like I will push myself more than I would have, say, prior meets, just to see that I have the potential to make it into Valley and then state. But as far as going 120%, I don't feel like I'm going to go all out, so I can save some for later.
Yeah. Daniel, is there anything different in your mindset going into tomorrow that you may not do when league and area and Valley and state hit?
Well, I'm trying to be prepared for that, so try and get up to 55 feet for the automatic qualifier for Valley and just keep consistent out there so I can be prepared for that meet when time comes.
Between the two of you, Daniel, you said you used to watch her compete when you were younger. Now you guys never get to see each other compete because when one's in the discus pit, the other one's in the shot put pit, and you guys are, half a mile away from each other.
They're not pits in throwing, dude. They're not.
Sorry,
pits.
they're rings.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
apologize. How does that work? Do you guys ever get bummed out that you don't get to see each other compete, or is it you guys are just, hopeful that the two of you are doing as well as you plan to be?
I think it starts out as we're trying to be hopeful for the best. I know that with a lot of the girls' events, I usually finish early so I can watch him. And then I think Daniel finally was able to watch me at Arcadia, probably for one of the first times.
Some of the league meets, actually, you got to. But I always try and hurry over to see how far she throws and see how we just hope that she does really good in just PRs. So I think we just both try and watch each other as much as possible.
Alicia, I got to ask you about Mississippi State before we leave. How does a girl from Bakersfield end up in Starkville, Mississippi?
Well, I was talking to the coach and on the phone, of course, and I absolutely loved her persona and her personality, and I thought that it would be amazing to throw for this amazing coach. And I was looking at some of the Ivy Leagues, and I was just thinking to myself that this is too expensive and that I couldn't quite afford it. And I made a trip out to Mississippi, and I love their biomedical engineering program. And then I just fell in love with the campus. It's really like a family over there, and they just include you in everything they do. And I just really love the campus and the coach and just the entire atmosphere of it.
Biomedical engineering.
Oh, dude,
I
you
feel
don't know
confused
how smart
already.
this one
Yeah.
is.
Do you have a cowbell yet?
I do.
You do.
I
Okay.
bought a
And were you
cowbell
ringing
just
it?
for this.
Mississippi State played UConn in the women's Final Four.
Oh, I watched that.
I was gonna say you had to be screaming at the TV. Daniel, she's screaming at the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think we were all screaming at the TV, even if we didn't have a dog in the fight.
Oh, well, it was one of those legendary
great.
nights where you're like, is this
really going to happen? Yeah. I just gotten back from New York that
Are
night.
they finally going to lose?
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just had to ask you about that, guys. I appreciate you being here. Good luck tomorrow the rest of the way, and we'll check in later, okay?
Thank you.
All right. These are the Liberty throwing trio, we'll call them, and we'll be right back. Highlands track team, a couple of their stars are in the house next on BVarsity Live.